What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to personally discuss, how I think the front office has done with the Zach LaVine move as well as the recent moves and just my overall opinions on them as of now, because I feel like this is the perfect time to discuss it. And I also think everybody's opinion now is starting to swerve one way or another. For a lot of us, it was in the wait and see approach. It was in, let's see what they do after the Zach LaVine trade. Let's see what they do after trading DeMar DeRozan and Caruso. Let's see what they do after this. Let's see what they do after that. And then make decisions. But if we keep going in that situation, we're always going to be in the wait and see approach. And that is something that I'm very aware of. So I just want to discuss where I am. And maybe I am still in that wait and see approach, but it's slowly starting to fade from the wait and see approach into a different approach. Let's figure it out in this video. Before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about these Chicago Bulls, and what do you think about this current general manager, the front office, AK Eversley, and everybody else that is in that group, the ownership, whoever you want to talk about in terms of the upper management of the Chicago Bulls. What do you think about them? What type of approach are you hoping to see? What type of changes would you like to see? I think it's safe to say there is a lot to talk about here. So, last time I made a video about these guys, I was most definitely in the wait and see approach. And I had people saying different things to me left, right, and center, saying AK just needs time. Give him more time and let him figure it out. People saying AK is worse than the Garpax era, and that he's making the same mistakes as them, and everything in between. And now we're getting to the point where almost everybody kind of feels that way. And you know what? Time is starting to really dictate how a lot of people's opinions sway. And the way that I see it right now, the best time to talk about it is now, because I think the trade deadline is over. We've traded Zach LaVine, and I think, all in all, I'm more hurt than anything about this front office. I'm hurt. I'm not angry, not yet at least. I'm not excited by any stretch of the means. I'm hurt. And I'm hurt because their first plan didn't work. When you get a front office into this team, right? A new one. And look, getting a new GM in general is so hard to come by with this team. I mean, there are certain teams that throw GMs out like no tomorrow. With the Bulls, we don't do that. There was GMs that simply didn't know how to do their job, that were in here for years and years and years. And that's why the whole brigade of the Garpax era, Garpax out, all this stuff was in the media in the first place. It's because we were trying to make the difference, because the ownerships wouldn't do it. And you know what? If they probably still wouldn't have done it unless we did something about it, if you know what I mean. Like, it's as simple as that. They just don't make decisions at all. That's how I feel about the ownership, at least. They don't make any decisions. I really believe that. But I'm hurt because their first plan didn't work. And now you're really starting to see how bad things are about to go. And that's where we refer to the Zach LaVine trade. They made the trade for Vucevic. They made the signing of DeRozan. They made the signing of Lonzo. They brought in guys like Caruso. And for one season, it was great. It was great. But temporary success has now led to potential long-term failure. This Zach LaVine trade absolutely sucked. The DeMar DeRozan sign and trade absolutely sucked. Like, genuinely sucked. We got almost nothing of value in return for those guys. DeRozan we traded for Chris Duarte, I believe, who is now no longer on the team. Zach LaVine, I mean, look, the jury's still out on the players that we got. Maybe some of them can make a difference to this team, but we only got our own first-round pick in return. Alex Caruso, we traded for Josh Giddey. We got no picks in return for that. And people still think that's a massive mistake. Look, to be honest, that's the best trade out of the lot, but people still think that's a mistake. So the trades that we have seen, people are not happy with. And at some point, you need to reflect, are you not happy because it's just biased towards the general management, or are you not happy because the trades suck? And I think for the majority of them, the trades have just downright sucked. And I feel bad because maybe we couldn't have got anything else. But that's what happens when your plans fail. That's what happens when you make decisions that backfire on you. It reflects poorly on the general management. It reflects poorly on the ownership. And that's why people feel the way that they feel about them. Now, what do I feel about them? Because, look, the Zach LaVine trade sucked. There's no sugarcoating it. The Rosen trade sucked. The Josh Giddey trade, the Caruso trade was questionable at best. There hasn't been a lot of things to be happy about and smiling about as a Chicago Bulls fan right now. I am personally in the still wait-and-see approach because there's still moves that need to be done. There's still moves that need to be done. We still need to trade Vucevic. I've heard that Kobe White is on the trade block. I've heard that. Whether or not it's true or not, I got no clue. But we need to see if something happens and comes out of that situation. At the end of the day, there is still more moves that need to be made if we are going to go for that full rebuild. And until all those moves are done, it's hard for me to give an opinion one way or another because I just don't think it's fair on them to quickly jump in and say, that's it, I've had enough of them, when there's still more moves that need to be done. But I cannot lie, this situation now has gotten me more concerned than anything I've seen since making YouTube videos about the Chicago Bulls. We're in a very dire situation, I personally feel, and I just don't know if there's much escape out of it. But I need to see what we do with Nikola Vucevic. I need to see what we do with the new money that we might have. I need to see what we do with Kobe White. I need to see what we do in this upcoming draft. And again, I'm in that mindset of wait and see, but at some point the wait and see era has to come to an end. So, again, I just need to see what they do with Zach LaVine, with Nikola Vucevic. I need to see what type of picks they could get in return for that. I need to see the type of moves that they make. But right now, if I had to lean one way or another, I think I'm leaning more towards this front office does not have a clue. And I'll give you one reason. One reason. This one reason is why I feel like this front office doesn't have a clue. Billy Donovan is still here. Billy Donovan is still here. That is the one reason I am not happy with this front office at the moment. And that is the one reason I'm leaning towards this front office doesn't have a clue. Tell me why Billy Donovan is still here. He has had, was it 4 now? 4 mediocre seasons with the Chicago Bulls. He hasn't thrived. He hasn't exactly sucked terribly to the point where we're last. He's been mediocre for 4 straight seasons. And no one thinks he's going to get fired. No one thinks his job is in jeopardy. Even when we're rebuilding, he is still safe and secure sitting in the head coaching position for the Chicago Bulls. We got a brand new coaching team for him. And he's still safe, even though we're minus 500, even though we suck so bad, even though we still feel like his rotations are not bringing the desired results. He's still here. And that reflects poorly, in my opinion, on AK, because he's always been a guy that I personally see him. He doesn't like to make decisions quickly. He takes his time with everything, right? But at some point, it kind of feels like it's stagnation now. We're waiting for it because there's no other outcome that's going to happen. At some point, Billy Donovan is going to leave the Chicago Bulls team, whether it's by his own merits or by AK and the Bulls front office firing him. We're waiting for it, but until then, the results are not coming in, and he's still in that job, safe and secure. That, to me, is bizarre. It's bizarre. And that's one thing, out of all the things we could do, we could trade Zach LaVine, sure, and get peanuts out of it, which is we did. We could trade Vucevic for nothing. We could trade Kobe White for nothing. We could trade everybody for nothing. I would understand that more than understanding this. Understanding keeping Billy Donovan here. To me, it's the easiest thing you can do. You can easily fire the head coach. How many head coaches have we seen leave a team or get fired from a team, even undeservingly, in the NBA since Billy Donovan has been a Chicago Bulls head coach? Surely there's a stat somewhere that can show it. I'd love to know. Undeservingly, even deservingly, doesn't matter. Teams do it left, right, and center. Why have the Bulls not pulled the trigger on that? Billy Donovan is not a rebuilding coach. He's not a contending coach, as you can see, either. He hasn't won a championship before. So, what is there about this? What's so special about Billy Donovan that requires him to stay here long term? I mean it in the nicest way possible. I actually like Billy Donovan as a person. I love his honesty. I really do. But at some point, something's got to give. It's been 4 years now. We've not gotten any better. So that, to me, is the reason why I'm leaning more towards they don't have a clue. Then I'm excited to see what the future is. because stuff like that is just unacceptable to me, and it brings more questions than answers. And I can wait and see all I like, but as long as Billy Donovan is here, I can never truly get behind this front office fully, 100%. That's how I see it. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I know it's not just the head coach. Don't get me wrong. It's not just the head coach. But I think it's the personification. He's the personification. It's almost like he's the spitting image of what the Bulls are right now. And that is getting absolutely nowhere. The trades have gotten us nowhere. You know? The trades have gotten us nowhere. The moves we've done to contend have gotten us nowhere. The moves we're now doing to go younger hasn't gotten us nowhere. Like, we're still the same. We've been the same for 4 years. We're not getting anywhere. And I think Billy Donovan is a spitting image of that at the moment. I hope you understand what I mean by that. I don't like talking about the front office because it gets me on a tantrum about the ownership as well. And I just know those things don't change. They won't change. As much as we can beg, as much as we can put hashtags on social media or pay for billboards outside of Chicago, or as much as you could get televised media to talk about it, the Bulls' ownership is not going to change unless it's the Bulls' ownership that decides they want to change. We can't force anything to happen there. So it's frustrating because it doesn't feel like we're going to get much change. Look, it's the price you pay for being a Bulls fan, I guess. Loyal as we are, we have to go through suffering just like anybody else, I guess. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bulls vs Warriors. New players coming in, so at least there's something to be excited about in that game. I will see you then. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care. And peace.